Okay, so we are now live. Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name's Tracy Forsyth. I'm the founder of Fasttrack to Fearless, which is a virtual academy for career confidence and fearless leadership skills. And I am delighted to have with me today one of my former coachees, Anita. Welcome, Anita.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everyone.
Hello, and Anita has been volunteered by me. She's been dragged into the studio to talk to us a little bit about coaching with me, coaching, what you got out of it, a little bit about what the subject of my course is, selling yourself fearlessly without feeling like an imposter. So, Anita, if I can start, actually, you didn't actually choose me. Can you just explain how you ended up with me?
Yeah, no, of course. So I met you through an emerging leadership program at BBC Studios, which was a course that I attended over a year ago, or a program, if you will. And through the potluck of lottery of mentors, I acquired you, or you acquired of me, and boy, did I luck out. But yeah, so that's how we met. So brought together in many ways, as opposed to a selection process. But yeah, we've not looked back, have we? You've continued to mentor me. This is year 2 now.
It is, yeah. And I was very fortunate, yeah. And you were already identified as a talented emerging leader in the company. And so as part of that kind of, and the program you were on was like a leadership program to develop you further. So I was lucky enough to be one of the coaches on that program, and I got you. And it has been we've had a brilliant time together. And so I know you were given a coach on that program, so you didn't necessarily, unlike other people who actually seek out a coach. But what did you want coaching for? Like, what were your priorities when you came to coaching? What did you want to use that time for?
Yeah, and I think that program was great in the sense that it pulled together a lot of resources that had not been something that I was across prior. So, mentor programs, the coaching program with yourself. So I think I went into it with a really open mind and not really understanding what I could get out of it. And fast forward to where we are now, I had found the process super invaluable. So, the fact that, you talk a lot about imposter syndrome. Boy, did I know about imposter syndrome, didn't I? Crikey. And to a degree, it's still kind of something I still battle with in lots of ways. But yeah, I think going on to that course at that time, I felt like I didn't see a lot of likeness in the other cohort. I very much, it was not a course where you were selected. You had to almost get yourself onto that course, and really you were invited to join the program or go into the selection progress on the program based on kind of everything that you kind of did prior to that. So I was really taken aback really about being invited to join that course. And I think through our work together, I think it's that thing that a lot of people do. I think in particularly women, where you don't really, we multitasking, don't we? And we never take stock to really either stop and evaluate things, but also I think I am certainly very guilty of it. The worst of almost being overly critical or not really taking any value or seeing the value in what we've achieved. And to find that and articulate that and really, I guess, let that sit with you to the point where it feels like it's part of how you feel more confident in what you're doing. So I came onto that program feeling like I didn't really belong. I think you and I talk very openly about, what's great about the BBC and the BBC Studios is that it does really celebrate difference, but there is a lot of diversity within that. And I certainly on that program felt like I didn't see a lot of myself. And I think through others, and I think through our work, it's getting to the point where that's not really necessary for me anymore because I have that belief in myself. To my job and my role as myself, I think has been some of the most valuable things that the work that we've done together.
Yeah, and I think it's like you, a lot of the people that I work with, like you, are incredibly talented and very tenacious and determined and driven. And yet one of the things that holds them back is that kind of internal self-doubt and that lack of self-belief. So otherwise known as imposter syndrome or inner critics. So and you are somebody that comes over incredibly confident and articulate. So do you mind telling us a little bit more about those? You've talked about in terms of seeing likeness and everything, but in terms of like the self-doubt that you might have had when we started coaching, what can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, the biggest thing that we've tackled is the need to be validated outside of myself. And again, the other thing is around, I guess, I had a tendency to feel the need to fit in, especially when you're coming into these leadership positions, and growing through my career at BBC Studios. I felt the need to emulate, to look at kind of like the leadership teams above me. And where I find it very difficult is I found it really difficult to emulate because I couldn't see myself in them. But what I was trying to do is almost retrofit myself into this kind of like formula of what I felt good looked like, what success looked like at BBC Studios. And I think going onto that program, it really did help demystify some of that. But that said, it was the coaching itself that really got into under the hood of what was really going on. Because I think, like case in point, at this point, me incredibly well, I don't enjoy necessarily public speaking, although through our work, something else you've been working with me on. But it's that thing, isn't it? It's not so much what you kind of outwardly present. It's all the inner stuff that's going on in the brain, right? And the mind chat and everything else where I felt like I needed to step into myself and just get really clear about who I was and how I wanted to present myself. And then the step that we took together is how we can find a way for me to be able to articulate the authentic version of me and get dead okay with that. It's probably the best way to describe it. There were so many things that we're year 2, and I think you've helped me. You've been with me through my career as I've grown through BBC Studios, and I think each time we've sort of come together in a formal coaching session, it's slightly different in terms of what my needs are. And I think that's for me has been the really interesting thing is using this process to help me grow through things that present themselves like a bit of an onion, isn't it? It's like I get through some stuff and I realize as my role is elevating that there's other stuff that I probably need to think about and address. And I have very much welcomed your very frank, but also your very clear perspective on things that have really stopped me from kind of like pontificating around what I'm trying to avoid, and really drilling down to the stuff that kind of really matters to me, but also matters in terms of like how I am, I think.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I love the onion thing. It's like, you put, each year something else reveals itself, and that's life, isn't it? That things come up. And in terms of like, what were the kind of things that helped you get to grips with that imposter syndrome, and you talked about it being able to sort of sell yourself fearlessly.
Yeah, and I think, what's really different perhaps about our relationship is, like you said, we were brought together through a process. What I was really clear about, and I think having been coached by you for some time, is that what I really welcomed is that chemistry right from the get-go. And I don't think we were lucky in that. I think you have an amazing ability to see people as they are. And I think it's in behind what they want to present to you, and think in that sense. And I think the big thing for me was the trust. I trusted you implicitly from the very beginning. And I think that's really important when you have a coach. And for someone that's quite guarded, and again, I'm a classic example of, outwardly, you would think I'm the most confident person in the room. And that's just not simply true, because it's not. And I be able to get past that or see that perhaps before I was ready to allow you to see it, I think was really, really useful, because we got straight into it quite quickly. And, I think with the coaching session, there's lots of things. I've seen a number of your talks prior to this, and I think there's something in the connectivity of the whole self, and your professional self and your personal self, and how you come together as a sum of all your parts. And I think for me, that trust was really important when we were addressing things that are resonating in my personal life, or some of the things that I have journeyed through, and how that was showing up in my professional life without me really being that cognizant of it. And that trusting was really important. The other thing I really found valuable in terms of kind of like how we've tackled some of my issues is you have a really great step-by-step process, and you love going to the root cause, which is really quite exciting. But I felt what you are able to do is pivot between the two. So depending on I'm ready to share or not, you're able to sort of like go horizon and then down in, or you can really get to another thing and then think about how we plan that back out. So they're kind of the big things for me. But I think, you have a wealth of experience. I welcome that you'd worked at the BBC and was in media and things like that, worlds that are very different to me. I come from a fashion background. So all of that stuff I think was really useful. And you know what? You're one of my biggest supporters. And I think having that in a coach is really exciting and also really valuable. I've used you many of times where I've had a bit of I've got to do something quite big. Tracy, help me. And I think, you're always there, I think, for your coachees. And I think that comes across in everything that you do. And I have welcomed that support, or even just the knowing of the safety net underneath. Sometimes you just need to know that someone's got you in the background, and you can be very, very honest with this person about what's going on.
Yeah, that's lovely. So lovely to hear as well, actually, you know, and this is not an ad, by the way. There is no payment going on between me, between me and Anita. But I suppose it just brings me back to, you know, my purpose, which it genuinely is. You know, I feel very fortunate in life. You know, I had a supportive family. That my parents brought me up to be an independent thinker, and yes, I've worked very hard and all of that kind of thing, but I've had a fantastic career, and I just really feel now that I want to use my expertise and experience to empower other talented individuals to break free from the chains of self-doubt and perceived limitations, so that they can really fly and flourish and go on and change the world. And you are definitely one of those people. So for me, it's like a joy, you know, it's what sparks joy for me. And to help people, you know, unlock who they are. And the other thing that it just prompted me to say is what you've articulated, is that what I really believe is that in order to feel fearless in life, which means the opposite of imposter syndrome and all that kind of thing, it is to be fearlessly you. It's to know who you are and what you stand for and what you want, and then have the clarity of direction to go and get it. And I think the more you know who you are and what you want, the less you feel like an imposter, because you're not trying to be anybody else. You are totally fine with who you are, warts and all. You know that if things don't go well, you'll have a process to go through and pick yourself back up again. But, you know, you are definitely one of those people that, yeah, I mean, unleashed will change the world, and you are changing the world. I don't think you haven't actually said what you actually do. Do you want to just explain what you do?
Oh yeah, I mean, it sounds very lengthy, but I'm one of the senior licensing commercial managers at Beauty Studio, so I look after rights out for the business. And on top of that, which is really where a lot of my passion sits at this point in time, and a lot of the work that we've done, is I'm also one of their global sustainability managers. So working with the business, how we reorganize ourselves to become more responsible in our footprint, along with the climate agenda. So, you know, and I think when we started off, you know, I didn't really, you know, and that's a really good illustration actually about, you know, finding your true self and what energizes you. And, you know, the word that you used a lot with me about, you know, what is it? You know, I feel like I'm very capable, but I was really struggling to understand about how to add value in the way that I extracted value at the same time. Dead good at rocking up to my job and being brilliant at it. But then that joy that you get out in terms of being in that kind of like, you know, co-relationship with your employer, and like, you know, feeling like you're coming in and adding value, you know, the sustainability part of what I do now is really important. And having you help me define that to the point that, you know, I'm in a formal role at the BBC doing what I know that I can bring value to and what I want to do, was a very tangible thing that came out of our coaching sessions, or, you know, the time that we spent together over a year ago. And, you know, and we're going back into a formal round now, because now that I'm in seat and I have some other expectations, you know, and I find myself in these bigger forums as well, I've had a little bit, do you know, how do I then kind of like adjust to that, you know, and I've asked for your time again, you know, and we'll go back into a session. So I think for me, you know, we were brought together, and now you're bloody stuck with me, because I feel like I am. Go on, you go.
Yeah, no, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. You know, we'll be there. You know, I'll be in my rocking chair, and you'll be rocking the world, and I'll still be coaching you from the sidelines. Yeah,
but I would say anyone that's feeling hesitant about these things, you know, I very much see you as part of kind of like, I guess, my inventory of stuff that I keep for wellness and trying to got North Star stuff, you know, how I find my way with things, you know. And so, like, you know, we have known each other for some time now, and I keep coming back to kind of get what I need out of kind of like our sessions and use your guidance in that way. And I think through this process, it has absolutely, and this isn't an advertisement, you know, I'm here because I want to be, but I can also say that I can only say that it has absolutely helped transform my personal growth in a number of ways. And I think, you know, That's really something that's really important to me. And I think it's really funny because at the time that you were able to tackle rocking up as my authentic self and being really fearless for that, but also just being really super confident, quietly confident with it, is the time that I guess I was seen to be the most successful at BBC Studios after a 5-year tenure. And that's how long I've been there already. And I don't think there's any coincidence in that, because I think, what you're able to do is really help an individual focus on what they need and what they want. And sometimes there's a difference between the two. I'd sort of go off on that tangent, like, no, Anita, it's not about that. It's about this, isn't it? And I think through that process, like I say, it's really permeated into all parts of my life. And so, like I say, you're stuck with me because I think in this day and age, it's really important. And I think what's nice about you is that you're completely removed in lots of ways from my life. You know me and you know what's going on in my life. But more importantly, you have that super objective opinion where you're just here for me. And that's what I really appreciated. So through that program that we talked about at the beginning, having someone that was just there for me through that process. So I'm going through that process also, not feeling really confident about a lot of it, and having you in the background has really taught me that, and I think women are also not good at this, right? We're super great at having great friends and collective, groups of conversation, the rest of it. What we don't tend to do is really ask for help. And, what I admire in you is obviously there's a lot of things that I respect in terms of your career also. You're very well respected at the BBC. But more importantly, the fact that you mentor many of the people in the group of all sorts of different levels. I'm not a particularly senior person at the BBC. But having that ability to kind of like see you flex between things, has also meant that I've been able to grow through you. Do you know what I mean? And observe what you look at and how you think about things. And that's been really helpful also as that objective person in my life.
Yeah. Oh, well, listen, I invited you on to talk about coaching, but I'm now like basking in all this lovely, lovely feedback. So I wanted to just say that just to obviously thank Anita so much for that testimonial. That's beyond, it's like exceeded my expectations. And also just to remind everybody that I've launched my very first course, which is called Sell Yourself Fearlessly Without Feeling Like an Imposter. So it's an online self-paced course, which is available now. And it touches on those things that we discussed, how to defeat imposter syndrome once and for all, how to really understand those inner critics and what they say about you, what they say about your values, so that you can tackle it, how to do that. And then the second thing, once you have relieved yourself of that imposter syndrome, is really being able to use your expertise and your experience to sell yourself fearlessly, to pitch your authentic self. So it's a lovely course. I've had lots of sign-ups so far, but there is a time-limited offer, as there always is. So do sign up before Thursday if you want to get the special launch price, which it will never be again. So I hope to see you there. But for the time being, Anita, I just want to say thank you so much for that. You are just wonderful to work with. I've had a note here saying people are very impressed, but can you slow down a bit, which is something we've talked about. Yeah, because she's got so much to say, and her mind, she's so fast-minded that the whole world, just has to like really. It's good because people have to concentrate to land on yourself. Yeah,
I apologize if it was a bit quick. No,
you don't have to apologize. You got to be fearlessly you, but slow down a little bit. But,
I was going to say, what's bloody funny is that slow in my world. No, I mean, there's one thing I am is horribly honest, and like I say, I've had the luxury of working with you for some time, so I would say to anybody, just give it a go. I really do. It's been really, really valuable to me, and that's why I just to share that with people.
Yeah, thank you very much, Anita. I will see you very soon. And anybody else who's interested, please head to my website, fasttracktofearless.com, if you are interested in that course and want to sign up. But for now, I will bid you all a farewell and thank you so much, Anita.
Bye.
Take care. Okay, I'm going to end the broadcast. Hold on.